Okay, I think we have. I think we have missed a lecture from the previous time. That is Christina Rossetti's birthday, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So today we are going to explain it and see whether you are going to have questions or not about it. Christina Rossetti is among the important female figures of the Victorian era. You know that in the previous lecture we explained Elizabeth Barrett Browning. She was a female figure. Today we are going to have another female poetess, that is Christina Rossetti from the 19th century, the Victorian era. Almost the end of the 19th century in the Victorian era, in which a group of poets appeared as being the pre-Raphaelites. Pre-Raphaelites means the group of poets who has an interest once more towards nature, towards simplicity, together with the aim of having art for art's sake, to present poetry or literature or painting or for the sake of its art rather than any other sake. The poem we are going to have from Rossetti, of course, we have Dante Gabriele Rossetti and the Christina Rossetti. Both of them are poets and they are brothers. And both of them are to belong to the pre-Raphaelite movement, the end of the 19th century. So, the poem we're going to have from this poetess or female poet is My Heart is Like a Singing Bird, or its title is A Birthday. So, this poem is either to be known by its title, Birthday, or by its first line, because the first line is very famous and widely quoted from this poem, which is My heart is like a singing bird. So, this poem is mostly and widely anthologized poem by the Victorian poet Rossetti, she herself. She is highly included among anthologies, especially the anthologies of this poetess, Christina Rossetti. It is also one of the greatest birthday poems in English literature. You know that in poetry, poems are to be talking about love, about death, about different subjects, and among those subjects is the birthday. So this poem is to be among the greatest, among the most famous birthday poems in the English literature. It has been published in the Goblin Market and Other Poems, this volume, in the years 1862, which is her own first collection. The poem consists of 16 lines, short poem, just like a song. It consists of 16 lines of a very beautiful, style of Rossetti herself, most popular, widely known, widely anthologized, and widely quoted. Anyone, if there is a birthday or if there is a wedding, or they are to quote from these poems and to put it on cards. So if there is a person is to send a flower or something to his own beloved or his own wife or in a birthday, they are to quote from this poem and to be sent together with the flower. So it is widely quoted. The poem is to express it is a very unusual poem, and it is to express the very important prediction of Rossetti as being what? Very pure and undarkened joy. Very pure and undarkened joy. What does it mean, undarkened joy? Something which is related to happiness, something which is related or away from death and sadness, and it is a joy that is undarkened. It is a joy that is optimistic, and in which there is hope, there is happiness, and there is no any reference to darkness or sadness or lack of happiness. The happiness in this poem delight the critics, makes them happy, also the readers, since the time the poem has been published. It is really delightful and it is really accepted widely by the critics as well as the readers since the time of its own publication. The poem also, as we have mentioned, used to be quoted in greeting cards, in wedding invitations, in birthdays, and in most of the happy occasions that are to be found. The poem has actually a surface meaning, which is the happiness and the joy and the optimism. And also critics nowadays are to see that there are deepest meanings behind such a surface meaning. There is a depth in meaning that is related to this poem, away from just the apparent simple meaning or the surface meaning it is to be found. That is to say what? The poem is not only about love and simplicity and happiness, and it might be also considered a devotional poem. Devotional means what? There is a sense of devotion, dedication, or connection with the religion. Devotional means religious poem. Once you read it, and such a meaning is to emerge from it. So, the poem in this case is a poetic vision of transcendental love, or transcendent love, which means what? The love that changes, the love that is happy, the love that combines intense sensuousness related to the senses, the kind of love that is to be related to the senses, the hearing, the touch, the see, and it is supposed to be devotional as well, which means religious in this sense. This is also to say that the poem is to talk about love, which is a very obvious theme, a very clear theme in the poem. This is, some of you might say that the theme of love is not something new. Yes, it is not new, but the way it has been handled is different. That is to say, very few poems actually in the English literature are to talk about not only love, but about being in love. And what's more is that being happy in love. Because most of the poems that talks about love are to talk about frustrated love, one-sided love, unrequited love, different types of love in which there is agony, there is suffering, there is sadness to be suffered by the beloved or the lover. But this poem is to be dealt with the theme of love, and the theme of love which is being happy in love. A kind of happy love rather than a frustrated or a sad or a love that is concerned with agony and sadness and weeping and crying. So, there is no such frustration, there is no such jealousness, there is no such one-sided love or love of someone who's now dead and not to be found, and like most of the poems of Tennyson or Shakespeare or different other poets. It is, once more, about the theme of being in love and being happy, also about love. So there is a sense of delight, there is a sense of joy undarkened. When I say undarkened, it means a kind of happy love. Such kind of extreme happiness that finding special someone to provide you with. It is the kind of happiness that is to be provided by someone towards you. It consists, as we have mentioned, of 16 lines, divided into two parts. Each part consists of 8 lines. So the first stanza is a descriptive. Now, you are in love and you are supposed to express or to show the kind of love you have. An expression of the happiness you have got due to this kind of very happy love. So it is not enough to say that I'm in love and I'm happy. To say I'm happy is not enough, but you are supposed to express the extreme happiness you have. How is that? she did so by lichens. She uses a simile, a kind of simile, which is like or as, by lichens her own heart to different beautiful, happy things. Like, for example, what? A singing bird. When a bird is singing, this denotes what? Happiness. Even us as human beings. If we are to sing, it means what? We are quite happy. We are in extreme happiness. So, or to liken her own heart to an apple tree. And this apple tree is in the time of its ripeness, when the branches of this tree is filled with the fruits, which means what? This kind of love is it productive, fertile. When it is to be compared, her own heart to a rainbow shell, the rainbow and the colorful lights that are to be, colors, the many colors that are to be found in the rainbow and how far they are to be reflected on the ocean, or this is also something that it creates or shows happiness. So she used, or although her heart is like all these things, but she tries to say what? My heart is happier than them all. And then she says that this is because of what? Because my beloved, or the speaker's beloved in the poem, has come to her. So she's not only expresses her own love, but she expresses, her happiness, but she also expresses the reason behind her own happiness. My love has come to me, which is at the end of the first stanza. So my heart is like a singing bird whose nest is watered shoot. My heart is like an apple tree whose boughs are bent with thickest fruit. My heart is like a rainbow shawl that peddle in the hazel sea. My heart is gladder than all these. My heart is happier than all those very happy images. Why? Because my love has come to me. So the source of her own happiness is what? The coming of love to her own love, who provide her with all this type of happiness. And the second stanza, she began writing in the imperative mode, which means what? She gave orders, direct orders or commands, like raise and hang and curve. All these things are to be used in the imperative mode by her. She says what? Raise me a days of silk and down, hang it with burr and purple dyes, curve it dove and pomegranate till the end. Which means what? She shifts from describing the happiness into, that is to be found in her heart, into commanding, ordering things to be done to her. I'm happy and I'm ordering things to be done for me. Why? To honor this kind of love, to honor this kind of happiness, to celebrate it. She tries to celebrate the very beautiful feelings or love that she has got. So she wants a dice, which is what? Just like a platform to be made for her, just like a stage or a platform to be made for her. Why? In order to celebrate this love. And this dice or platform is just like what? Just like a royal one. When I say royal, it means kingly. It means with elevated style. Something that is related with kings and queens. Royal here means a type of love which is what? Honor, not cheap, not bad, but it is something royal. So the kind of love is not a spiritual, a sensual, or something that is completely royal, highly elevated. That's why, since the love she got is great, she wants to celebrate it by using all the great things. It is great, so it is supposed to be greatly honored in a great way, with the great things and matters. She uses belts of silk, a very precious kind of cloth, and soft feathers, and the feathers are very expensive and luxurious. So to do what? All these things are going to be used and hung in the platform with fur. Fur is a very expensive kind of fur used from the squirrel, expensive and rare. She uses also the purple dyes. Purple, the color purple is also royal. It is connected or associated with royalty, with very elevated style. So she wants also images of dove, and the dove is a kind of bird which is white in its color. Why? Because it is associated with purity and peace and love. Pomegranates, also a kind of fruits that are to be concerned with royalty as well. So she wants to celebrate this very precious love with the very and the most precious and expensive royal things, because it deserves so. Since it is expensive, so it deserves expensive things to be celebrated with. She wants gold and silver and grapes to be carved on this dais, or as we have mentioned, the platform, so that she can create a very beautiful place to celebrate, or to make her own place very beautiful and royal, so that she can celebrate the beauty of the love that is going to come to her. My love has come to me, so I should honor it and I should celebrate it. So she, in this case, ends the stanza with the same way she concluded the first stanza. My love, because the birthday of my life is come. My love is come to me. This is the end of the second stanza, because the birthday of my life is come, which means what? My love is coming to me. So there is here a metaphor, as if the time that her own love has come to her is just like the time she has been recently born. A new life has come to her, as if it is a metaphor for life. The coming of love to her is just like a metaphor of a coming of a new life. So those images that has been associated with the grandeur, with royalty, are to be prepared for the visit of the lover, and to celebrate it on its highly and honored way. Because this day, as if the first day in her own life, as if her birthday. So the speaker here is transforming her own life into something very special, very rare, and she feels that this love should be honored in such a fitting and beautiful way. So simply, this is what is presented in the first stanza, is to show her own happiness, and that's why this happiness is so great that it is supposed to be what celebrated in the second stanza. It is worth also important to compare Rossetti's birthday with the idea that the coming of love is the first time that she has got. The coming of her love has changed everything in her life, transformed, changed her own life into something very special and rare, and it should be honored. So within those symbols, within those images, within such similes that she has made, there are hidden references to religion or to devotion. It is not only to say that it is a happy, just like a bird, but there are symbols behind that. When I say bird, it means what? In its nest, in its, let's say, home, it suggests that this love is going to be just like, for example, a marriage into which she is going to have a home, and she is going to have her own nest to stay in, her own home. It is concerned, or it is to be connected with what? With family making. When we say that it is just like a ripe fruit, it means that this love is going to be what? Fertile. And fertile means they are going to have children. They are going to have a family in this sense. Though in her own life, Rossetti never married in her own life, but this is the suggestion of those symbols. She has a desire, maybe, or a suggestion of homemaking and starting a family, which is associated with the nest and the fertility and the ripeness of those let's say, fruits. The rainbow shell also suggests the exoticism. She's suggesting her love is worthy, it deserves a celebration and a ceremony. And the word Halisan, which is a poetic word for a kingfisher, means that she is summoning royalty. The kingfisher is to dominate the poem's stanza and the royalty in the poem's second stanza. So it is to be concerned with love, and it is to be concerned with the idea that this kind of love is not cheap, it is something worthy. It is a suggestion for home and family and, a kind of elevated style or kind of love. This poem also has within its deep meaning interpretation about what is religious right here, into which the poet tried to express her own joy with my heart is like a singing bird, as if she is joyous and she's happy with the coming or having a reunion with the Christ, the religious figure. So, however, we have problems in life, such religious interpretation is going to overcome it. So she opens the second stanza with raise me. Raise me, it means she wants to be raised so that she can be raised to an honored level, which is the level of Christ himself, to have a reunion with the Christ himself. She never tried to hide her own religious meanings. So though the use of biblical imagery does not mean she's devotional, but there is a sense of religion, in this case, Christ or religious matter, because of the royal images that are to be found in the second stanza. She has or she wants to have such kind of fulfillment in nature. And this is to be suggested by the high fulfillment with nature in the second stanza. So, having such a religious meaning is to be concerned with with the second coming of a Christ. They believe that there is a second coming and Christ is going to come. And so, the use of the image of the rainbow might refer to the symbol of God's promise to Noah and mankind that the flood won't come to earth again. She wants to show her own happiness about the arrival of her own love, and this love might not supposed to be a real love. It might be a kind of a Christian faith, a Christian love that is going to come and to change her own life and to bring her to a new life, as if a birth of a new life to come to her. Just like when we wait for spring, and spring, when it comes with its birds, with its fruits, it means a new kind of life, a birth of life, which is what a birth after the death in the winter season. So she might be referring to the second coming of the Christ, and this is her own birthday, the birth of her own Christian faith. So the second coming play a very significant role in the Christian faith. They believe that the Christ is going to come again, to be alive again, and to change the bad things in the society. It's a symbol of the fresh kingdom on the earth again. So all these things, the purple, raise me, the elevated style, is to show how far she is concerned with the second coming of the Christ, which is a Christian faith or belief they have. There are also such pre-Raphaelite components, which is what the simplicity, the apparent meaning, the images that are concerned with the fruit and nature and the tendency towards nature, which is a pre-Raphaelite influence that is to be found in her own poem. By her desire to reveal and to glorify the splendor of the natural world, she has been mitigated by her own religious apprehension of nature. Nature must be scrutinized, must be made or summarized in its moral and sacred meanings. We have nature, we have birth, but this is not in the natural meaning, it is in the sacred meaning. which is what the other life and the birth and the coming of those religious matters. So she blends the use of them in a very sensory way to describe the aesthetic and beautiful things. She is, after presenting such aesthetic and beautiful things in her own art. Okay, so here she is trying to have an attitude about the birthday or the new birth that many readers might have taken in their own secular life. Some people might waste their own time in lively things, but all of a sudden they are to have a faith, a Christian faith that is to come to them to change, to transform their own life towards what is religious, what is worthy. So this is a transform, this is a change in their own life that might be similar to a birth or a new life that has come to them. Okay, this is all about this poem. Do you have any question about it? Is it clear, this poem, students? Are you with me? Yes, Sarah?
Excuse me, دكتور، بس بالنسبة لمادة الامتحان إنه كم قصائد داخله؟
Okay, when we finish the lecture, we are going to talk about that. Okay, Sarah?
Okay.
The second poem we are going to have is by William Morris. William Morris is also another figure of the Victorian era. He is to be known as being a painter, a critic, a novelist, a translator, and a socialist activist. Socialist means that he was calling for bringing the equality among the peoples. You know that the Victorian age, when it came, the society was divided into classes, upper, middle, lower class, and even those classes are divided into subdivisions, upper class, middle upper class, and so on. So this poet was very active. He was very much involved in the religious matters, and he was after explaining his own social tendency. So it is clear that he is so in this case, he is assuming a role in the society that he wants to change. You know that most of the Victorians are objective. Objective means they have a lesson, they want to teach people. They are not talking about themselves, but about others as well. He was socialist in the sense that he wanted to change this lack of equality among people and to call for equality. There is no need for levels. People are supposed to be on the same level. That's why, and this is clearly to happen in the last part of the 19th century, like the Pre-Raphaelites and he himself, Morris, who also joined the Pre-Raphaelite class or group of poets. So he was a significant member in the socialist movement in Britain, and he was calling for changing such things in the society. His father wants him to be a religious man, but the way he lived, the way he aspired was different from this kind of life. That's why he did not go to the religious side or part. He was active in different fields in the society. He was also calling for preserving the buildings, the old buildings, to keep them rather than to destroy them. He was also to participate in the textile art, to design. In the textile, designing means to draw on clothes and to design them, which is also a kind of art. So he was successful in the artistic field, and also he was successful in the literary field, being a poet, a novelist, and a critic. Of course, he is to write a poem under the title "The Day Is Coming." And the day is coming is to express or to show his own dialectical materialist. He wants to show that he is, or men in general are supposed to use their own imagination. For what reason? To give them vision of working for a realization of a dream. They should have a vision, they should have a dream, and they should work to fulfill this dream, to make it true. So in this case, he is trying to give them a comradeship or a friendship that helps them in order to have a goal, a dream in their own mind, and to fulfill it. The day is coming. In the beginning of the poem, he says, "Come hither, lads, and hearken, for a tale there is to tell of the wonderful days coming when all shall be better than well." He is talking about the future. What's more is that he is making a direct comparison between the future and the present. So in order to attract the attention of the people, he says, "Well, come, I have a story to tell you. I have something to be told to you." Any one of us, if someone is to say, "Well, come, I have something to tell you," he's going to be interested. And then, after he attracts the attention of the reader, he began telling them a story. About what is this story? It is about a wonderful day that is going to come. Which means what? The day to come, or the days coming, means the future. The story is about the future. What happens in the future? In the future, when all shall be better than well. All of us are going to be what? Better. Aspire for a better future. Even when we are well now, even when we are good now. But this is not enough. We should aspire towards something which is better than our condition now. The tale is about what? The tale shall be told of a country, a land in the midst of the sea, and folks shall call it England in the days that are going to be. So it is about what? It is about the future, the days that are going to be, and it is about a country which is in the middle of the sea. This is whom? England. They call it England. You know that England is an island in this case, so it is in the middle of the sea. Then he kept on describing the future. In the future, or in the days that are going to come, there are more than 1 in 1,000 in the days that are yet to come shall have some hope of tomorrow, some joy of the ancient homes. We are going to enjoy the future because it is hopeful. There is hope in the future. And also we are going to long to the ancient times. So he is talking about the future, which is contrasted with the present, and he longs to the past, because the past, especially the medieval times with its romantic and beautiful themes, he likes and he has been influenced by. What is going to happen in the future? Laugh, or then laugh not, but listen to this strange tale of mine. Folk there are in England shall be better lodged with the swine. Then a man shall work and bethink him and rejoice in deeds of his hand. There is going to be a job for everyone, and this job is not going to be just like what we have now, that you work all the time and then you are going to remain tired and weary and unable to educate yourself. You remember, in the Victorian age, people used to go early in the morning and they used to return late in the evening, the workers, and what with very few wages, which is different from the upper class, the capitalists. So in the future, you are going to have jobs, but these jobs are to keep you time for enjoyment, to keep you time for educating yourself. They are not going to be weary and tiresome and worthless. There is something which is different from the present, which is the opposite. There is leisure time, there is shared wealth. The wealth is not going to be only at the hand of the rich, but it is to be at the hand of all people. All of us are supposed to be equal. There is no capitalist who own everything and workers who disown everything. Things are going to be what shared. And this is the principle of socialism, that people are on one level, not on different levels. We don't have rich and poor. We have equal people having the same wealth. Wealth is supposed to be shared for the sake of the communal well-being. The community is going to have well-being for all people. All of them are good. All of them have houses. All of them have jobs and time, and not a level at the expense of the other level. So what he has is a message for a distinctly utopian world. Utopian means what? Perfect world, ideal world. In the future, we are going to have, now we are going to have a dream that in the future we are going to have a perfect, ideal world. So you should have what? A vision, and you should work to fulfill this vision. Though utopian world is something dreamy, just like a dream, but we should work to achieve it. So he opens with them a chant that, come hither, come, listen to this tale, enjoy it, think of it, don't laugh at it, because it might be possible. A utopian world, a perfect world, an ideal is not impossible. It could be achieved in the future. But you should what? You should work for this. You should work to make your own dream fulfilled or achieved. This is where in the days that are going to be, in the future. So most of the poem is just about a description about how, what are the features of this coming day, and what prosperity and what good life we are going to be. And then finally he raises to a more dramatic pitch, which is what? Or tone, a high tone, which is what? Oh, why and for what are we waiting? Why we are waiting? Why we are hesitant? Why we are waiting while our brothers are dropping and dying? There is no need to wait. We are supposed to work right from now. So he is calling for realism, though he works just like the pre-Raphaelites, art for art's sake. He is presenting poetry for the sake of the beauty of poetry. But the technique and the theme is to show how far the future shape and how far we should work for it. So in his own poem, there is the political passion. We should struggle in order to achieve our dream in the future. Of course, he envisions in the lines of the day to come, he envisions a transformation. Envision means what? He dreams of, he expects. If we do so and so, we are going to have what? This vision, this dream in the future. This transformation that is going to enable us to use all arts and to make them possible and accessible to all people. And what wealth then shall be left us? I'm not dreaming of a wealth or of a money or of being a rich. Why? Just to buy my friend or my comrade. The capitalists are using money for the sake of buying workers and friends, but wealth, according to him, is not for the sake of buying people, marketing them. This is not, of course, what he himself is after. Only love is going to be in the city, in this country, in this England. Only love, and people are going to be equal, and no one is going to buy the other or using his own wealth to exploit the other. So he is calling not only to social revolution, but also to a revolution of artistic spirit. He is calling them to revolt and to use an artistic, a beautiful spirit in order to confirm and to use or to achieve this day that is going to come, the future. In this case, he is going in this poem, the day is coming, to transfer into a distinctive paradoxical blend of archaic images and archaic messages. He, by having such ideas of socialism, he's affected or influenced by many socialist leaders in the society, like, for example, Carlyle. Carlyle is a very important socialist figure during the Victorian age, and he was calling for equality and for transforming and changing the society and being against capitalism. He was influenced by the ideas of this activist during the late 19th century. So we should work hard, we should revolt so that we can make a social revolution to change the bad things, the political things, even sometimes the traditional literary aspects around us. So the poet then delivered his own message throughout, telling them a story, and you know, sometimes you learn from a story better than you learn from instructions. You learn from what has been exemplified in a story better than to instruct or to order others. And this is throughout using the artistic, sensitive, and proper uses of his own art to press on them, to make them change, and to make them need a kind of result that is very much justified. So there is optimism right here. Optimism means a happy ending, which is different from pessimism. Pessimistic or pessimism is to be sad, to be frown at the future. No, he is happy. He is seeing hope in the future. The future is hopeful. We should work for it. There is hope. We can change. We can reach what we are after. And though there are sacrifices, though we are going to sacrifice things, but those sacrifices are not as worthy as the result that is going to come. The sacrifices are for the sake of a great aim, and we should do them. And he himself has made sacrifices, concerning Morris throughout his own life, practical conduct of his life. And this is reflected clearly in the spirit of the poem he has made. There are certain poems. This poetry is an occasion poetry, a poem written for a certain occasion. Sometimes you write a poem for a birthday or a marriage, or these are to be called occasion poems. This poem might be called an occasion poem written for the socialist activity because he was socialist, but it must be remembered that the occasion was one knit into the very fiber of the poet's being. It is concerned with his own life, it is concerned with his own time, it is concerned with the activities that he himself was after. Okay, this is all about this poem. Do you have any question about it? Yes, Huda?
Yes, Miss. It's a hopeful and great poem, and you explain it in a perfect way.
Okay, I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Because the main aim of art or literature is to enjoy, the enjoyment, the entertainment. Yes, Sarah, concerning the exam, the material of the exam?
Yeah, the material of exam.
Okay, an introduction, and I assume that we are going to use the first 4 poets. We're going to have Tennyson.
We want to the first poet with introduction. If you don't have problem of it.
The introduction and the first 4 poets.
Okay, with introduction. Okay.
Yes.
Just for the one with introduction.
Yeah, Tennyson, Browning, Matthew Arnold, and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, together with the introduction.
Okay, Doctor, thank you.
I hope.
دكتور تقدر تنزلين بالكلاس كتبين اياهم؟
ان شاء الله. انتم يعني امتحانكم خلي اشيك الجدول اشوفها قريب او لا، راح انزلكم الماده.
قريب عندنا فقط just one day to read the material.
I'm going to write it down on your own class. It's okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thanks a lot. I'm going to call your names. Those whom are present are supposed to say yes and leave. And if you have time, I want you to work on a report so that I can add to you certain marks on your own daily preparation. A report supposed to be concerned with the Victorian age, from the poets we have studied or from any other poet in the Victorian age. Okay, whether male or female. Yes, Yahya.
Yes, first of all, good morning, Mr. Ha.
Morning. Hi. Yeah.
Yes, with regard to the reports, okay.
Yeah.
Other proposal, of course, and the last decision is for you. You decide whether to work with it or not. I'll just why we don't just make like an oral exam, just to ask us after the monthly exam some questions. Okay, then we get marks for this quiz.
Okay.
Or
if you are to agree on this, all of you, and instead of having reports, it would be quite enough for me.
Because Mr. Harab, just something, because we are busy these days and just prepare for monthly exams, and report demands many concentrations and times to prepare it well, and okay. So if we just wanted to...
But the oral exam is also difficult, you know. It is going to figure out whether you have understood the questions presented to you or not. Okay, so also...
Because, Mr. Harab, please, after the monthly exam, can we just make the exam after the monthly exam? Just because, or just before it, in day or 3 days, okay? Then we will hit a sparrow with one stone. Okay,
you know what? I don't think we have time for that. You see, we are going to be suppressed by time. So when we say that there is an oral exam, it is going to be within the days you are examining the monthly exam.
Doctor?
Yes.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes, doctor. We also don't have enough exam. We have exam and we have the final and some material didn't complete it, and we want to read them carefully because it's get 16 mark.
So
And also,
what's your suggestion? To have an oral
Doctor, we can't have an oral exam.
Okay, just Mariam, let's finish with Fidda and then with you.
Just please, my classmates and my friends, just don't look at the exam just a error or just a monster or like something like that.
I think it is not a matter of error, but it is a matter of time. They have many exams. Maybe they are suppressed by time, you see. So I think, well, writing a report, it would be much easier for them. At their own spare time, they might, gather things and write, you see.
I'm looking for the easiest thing. We are looking for the...
we are going to leave the matter open to you, discuss it among your own classmates, and just give me the final decision. And I'm ready for whatever you are going to decide.
Okay.
Doctor, ask for what is the last time to send it?
Almost the end of your own timetable of the exams, you see?
Okay.
But if it would be earlier than that, it would be better. Okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And
sorry
to be made as a note for you.
Saha?
Yes, on the class. Yes, Mustafa.
Some students have 2 exams in the same day, grammar and poetry, so we need to help us.
Okay, help is there, but you know what? You should help yourself, so that others can help you. Okay? You yourself, okay, supposed to help yourself so that others can help you.
Okay.
Mustafa. So, Zainab Munir,